Professor Gao, let's talk about interest groups and the role they play in our democracy. First, can you define interest groups?
Yeah, so an interest group is made up of individuals who share similar ideas when it comes to public policy, and they often engage in activities that are designed to influence government at all levels, including federal, state, as well as local.
What impact do interest groups have as to how our government works?
So interest groups can shape as well as set public policy agenda, and they try to do this by their influence on the elected officials, mainly through a method called lobbying. The idea of lobbying is, or the lobbyists are the ones who often provide information to elected officials to help them make the decisions about how they would assess a policy and how they would eventually vote on the policy. That information can be either positive or negative for the proposition that's in place, and will guide the politicians on how they should vote. Interest groups also try to influence the outcome of elections. In 2009, there was a reform on the healthcare, and on that issue, there was a proposition that was on the agenda to talk about the soda tax. And interest groups mobilized against the soda tax and proposed that it would penalize low and poor income families. And so ultimately, after spending millions of dollars on advertising on TV, they were able to prevent the tax from being imposed.
Are interest groups constitutionally protected, and how do they influence elections?
Interest groups are protected by the First Amendment's right to peaceably assemble, or also called the freedom of association. They influence elections by making campaign contributions to candidates and political parties, and by lobbying members of Congress. So in the healthcare reform debate, they spent $263 million to try to lobby government, and had over 3,000 lobbyists working for the interest groups to influence governmental decisions.
Why is this issue so important?
It's important to point out that interest groups will always be part of our political landscape, and they're not really going away anytime soon. They are going to try to influence government with the money that they have, and try to win elections for candidates. Students should consider the question of whether it's constitutional for Congress to make laws limiting campaign contributions, as well as whether or not there should be any limits to interest group contributions.
To learn more about this, please read your textbook.